Today, we are flying Bamboo Airways, a newish hybrid airline out of Vietnam. We're going to be trying them out long haul on their Boeing 787 Dreamliner product, from Sydney all the way to Ho Chi Minh City. Join us as we check out this flight in detail, from the seats, the amenities, the dining experience, and the service on board. This one is a points and miles sweet spot, and we can't wait to share an incredible way to book this experience. We start this trip here at Sydney Airport, the busiest airport in Australia, and our day begins on a mixed note, and we can't help but feel like we've been, bamboozled already.
Morning from Sydney Airport, and today is New Airlines Day. How exciting! We're going to be trying Bamboo Air. But first, bad news.
Our flight is delayed by 2 hours, and that's going to be pretty tight to connect to another flight to Phnom Penh.
So, let's see how we go.
Bamboo Airways doesn't allow us to check in online or pre-select seats, so we decided we get to the airport early anyway. Being Christmas Eve, the airport was decorated in festive themes.
Look, it's wearing a Santa's hat. G? This one, G for good or G for great?
Unfortunately for us, the flight was full, and the system allocated us to random middle seats, which means no window views on this flight. No! After swiftly passing through immigration security, it's now time to check out the lounge. Eligible passengers on Bamboo Airways get to use the Plaza Premium Lounge, which is also the SkyTeam Lounge. This lounge was recently done up and sported a fresh blue theme. As we walk down the stairs, we see the logos of all the members of the SkyTeam.
This is the SkyTeam Lounge, so you got all the airlines of the SkyTeam up there. Wow, it's very blue.
The lounge was quite small, but felt modern with some greenery attached to it. It was also pretty quiet at this time of the day. Coming in at an odd time between breakfast and lunch, we found that there were limited food options here. Nevertheless, we got our coffee fix sorted as we enjoyed the fantastic views outside. Right outside the window was a Vietnam Airlines A350, which is in fact the main competitor to Bamboo Airways. By now, we noticed that our gate is open, so we decide to hike our way there in anticipation for our boarding call. And here is our aircraft for today. We are flying on a 3-year-old Dreamliner. Bamboo Airways has a fleet of 3 of these, with this being their first ever long-haul aircraft.
Finally, we are boarding.
Welcome aboard Bamboo Airways Business Class. There are 26 seats here that are arranged in a 1-2-1 reverse herringbone configuration. We are in seats 19D and 19G, which are also the last rows in this section. Let's check out the seat in detail, which comes with plenty of legroom and can be adjusted with this.
Wow, look at these seat controls, they're pretty fancy, it's like a touch screen.
To the left of the seat, we have the power and USB ports, along with some storage for smaller items, and a lamp and a reading light. On the other side, we have a bigger storage, which also doubles up as an armrest. This cabin also has additional luggage storage spaces overhead, which is unusual for business class middle seats. For entertainment, we have a big touchscreen TV, but the choice of movies is rather limited. The TV can be controlled using the touchscreen remote as well. There is a detailed rotating flight map, but there is no flight camera.
Hi neighbor. Alright, show us what you got. It's a pillow. Blankets.
Pre-departure service begins with a hot towel, which is followed by a pre-departure drink service.
Orange juice, water, and apple juice.
Can I please have the apple? Thank you.
The flight begins to taxi almost 2.5 hours late, leaving our chance of catching our next flight very slim. We try to forget that part as we enjoy the sweet views out through someone else's window seat. And soon we are on the runway, hurtling our way towards Vietnam's largest city. Shortly after takeoff, the crew present each of us with a little Christmas present, which is very thoughtful. Unfortunately, my neighbor had other ideas. But thankfully, there is a retractable partition. It's now time for the first in-flight meal, and here's a look at our 5-course menu for today, which begins with some cashews. This is followed by the starter, which is the tuna and prawn served alongside some delicious garlic bread and soup. So we've got some bread, salad. What's really amazing is the amount of branding that Bamboo Airways has on each of their cutlery. Cute. Salt and pepper shakers. So cool. The starters were fresh and wholesome, but the garlic bread was delicious and we had to go back for seconds. This was followed by the main course. I had opted for the fish. Despite the presentation, it actually tasted better than it looked, and I can't really complain about the quality of the food. As I was making my way through the mains, Shweta had opted for the classic Christmas dish.
Turkey and some potatoes. Christmas meal.
Following the main course was a platter of cheese and fruits. This is really getting to being a big meal, and I had to check with the crew to make sure there was a second meal service on this flight. And then it was time for dessert. It had to be a Christmas cake to fit with the theme, and it was rich with a yummy custard topping. With that, the first meal service is over, and the lights are dimmed as the people try to catch some sleep. Which means it's now time for us to check out the amenities kit. The bag itself was pretty nice and was loaded with lots of items. No big brands here, but some pretty useful stuff. I make a quick trip to check out one of the 3 business class toilets, and it's quite standard, apart from the presence of this orchid.
It is. This is actually a real flower. It smells pretty good too.
And then it's time to turn down the seat for a quick nap. A few hours later, we find ourselves just 2 hours away from landing as the second mail service begins. I get a quick peek at the menu, thanks to a really friendly flight crew.
The first we serve all the drink.
All the drink.
And this is white wine.
Wine
and
and
this is the red wine. And this is menu for main course salad. And
This is for the second.
For the second meal, we both opted for the Vietnamese noodle, which was served with the Saigon My Night mocktail, which happens to be their signature drink. This meal was also delicious and was better presented than the first. As the city of Saigon comes to sight through someone else's window, let's take a look back at this flight. We can see how Bamboo Airways offers a solid business class product on their flight. The hard product is pretty good, and the onboard service is excellent. The main letdowns are rather on the technical side, with the inability to check in online and select seats, and the limited entertainment system. Since Bamboo has only 3 787s in its fleet, delays anywhere on the long-haul network take longer to flush out. And as we found out, you might want to consider giving yourself more time transiting Vietnam.
Members would like to thank you for flying with Thai Airways. Delighted to have you dining. We look forward to meeting you very soon. Thank you.
Xin chào, I'm here. Xin chào from Vietnam. That was an excellent flight. Now we got 80 minutes to make our next one. So will we make it? Let's find out in the next video.
We used Air Canada's Aeroplan program to book this flight. Aeroplan has partnerships with 50 different airlines, and recently Bamboo Airways joined as one of them, offering some good availability. This flight from Sydney to Saigon ended up costing us 45,000 miles and 130 Canadian dollars in taxes. In fact, Aeroplan allows you to mix and match partners, which means we got a Virgin Australia flight from Melbourne to Sydney as a free add-on to this flight. You can check out that video right here. We will share more information about this program in our description. We really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, do give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more travel videos and updates.